20 years ago this summer, a low-budget movie from a couple of BYU film school buddies burst into theaters across the country and put Preston, Idaho on a lot of people's maps. Released in June of 2004, Napoleon Dynamite was so popular that summer that you could say, well, things were getting pretty serious, that the city of Preston decided to put on a festival to honor the film a year later. However, that flocking of film fans only lasted about 3 years. But this year, the city just couldn't let the 20th anniversary of whatever I feel like I want to do go without another gathering. Moon boots, dance lessons, tetherball tournaments, costume and tot eating contests at Big J's. All of that was happening this weekend in Napoleon Fest 2024. It was flippin' sweet this weekend in Preston, I should say. Okay, so not sure about the glass of milk, but you could see that even LaFonda showed up. That was Kip's soulmate. Don't worry, Napoleon, I'm sure there's a babe out there for you too. Well, in honor of that 20th anniversary and the return of the festival, we thought we'll bring back some pretty much our favorite stories on the cultural phenomenon from Eastern Idaho, putting all that in today's 208 Redial.
How was school?
Worst day of my life? What do you think?
Napoleon Dynamite is the kind of movie a first-time filmmaker usually only dreams about.
It's totally exceeded everybody's expectations.
Jared Hess wrote and directed the movie.
Action.
His first foray into the incredibly competitive film industry.
I dry heaved for like the first couple of days of shooting. Like every morning I was just racked with nerves and I didn't really know what I was doing.
He made the movie in just 3 weeks at a cost of $200,000.
And cut.
6 months after its release, ticket sales in the U.S. are approaching $45 million.
Dang.
It recently opened in Australia and the United Kingdom as well.
Lucky.
The misadventures of an awkward Idaho teenager.
Such an idiot.
Jared says Napoleon Dynamite is loosely based on his own experiences growing up in Preston, Idaho.
When you come from a family of 6 boys, there's plenty of material to base a character like Napoleon on.
Jeez.
The movie was such a hit, it seemed everyone involved wanted to capitalize on it. It's one of the classic scenes from last summer's cult classic movie. Napoleon Dynamite, needing a ride, finds one in this red lowrider.
Is that on my driveway?
That's my ride.
Actually, it's his ride. Pat Evie rebuilt the car they call Lolo.
Everybody calls it Lolo in Salt Lake. It's a 71 Pontiac Granville with a 455 high output V8.
So this is from the movie?
Yep. Vote for Pedro.
Pat told us he was asked to read for the role of Uncle Rico.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Pat declined, but he did let them have his car.
I just gave it to him as is. And the rest is history.
Yep, the popularity of Napoleon took off, leaving Pat behind.
Yeah, I should have went to Preston.
But taking his car with it. And now it's for sale.
People just ask how much.
What do you tell them?
Make me an offer.
You know how big this thing is?
Well, we found out. No matter where we went, somebody seemed to recognize Lolo.
Is it a movie or what?
You've seen the movie, right?
Yeah, I've seen the movie. It's bad.
You recognize the car? Pat wasn't the only one to recognize when to strike when the iron and the market is hot.
Yeah, it's kind of an investment property for us.
A duplex on a quiet street in Preston, Idaho.
It's got a 2-bedroom apartment upstairs and a 1-bedroom in the basement.
Little did he know, this modest home was about to gain international attention. It's featured in the multi-million-dollar smash hit, Napoleon Dynamite.
Actually, we didn't know anything about the movie when we bought it. Paid $32,000 for it.
And what are you hoping to sell it for?
We're asking $99,500.
A 200% markup based on home improvements and unexpected star power.
It's Pedro's house, and the main scene was when they did the bike jumps.
You ever take it off any sweet jumps?
In the movie, Pedro is Napoleon Dynamite's best friend.
You got like 3 feet of air that time.
And Pedro's house is the backdrop for one of the most memorable scenes. But there's a bit of a buyer beware here. You see, not only will you know this is Pedro's house, so will every other Napoleon Dynamite fan who comes to town. It's listed as number 6 on the sweet map of Napoleon's Preston.
Speaking of sweet numbers,
Here's House Resolution 29.
Whereas the state of Idaho recognizes the vision, talent, and creativity of Jared and Jerusha Hess in the writing and production of Napoleon Dynamite, and whereas filmmaker Jared Hess is a native Idahoan who was educated in the Idaho public school system.
in April of 2005, just before calling it a session, members of Idaho's House called on a concurrent resolution.
And whereas tater tots figure prominently in this film, thus promoting Idaho's most famous export. And whereas the friendship between Napoleon and Pedro have furthered multi-ethnic relationships, and whereas Uncle Rico's football skills are a testament to Idaho's athletics. And whereas Napoleon's bicycle and Kip's skateboard promote better air quality and carpooling as alternatives to fuel-dependent methods of transportation.
It was a good move that intentionally turned some
Lucky
lawmakers into a certified
idiot.
Remember, those that vote no are frickin' idiots.
Allison Uten,
Idiot.
Idaho's News Channel 7.
Last day of the session. Okay, so what's happened since then? Well, Pedro's pad sold in 2006, and according to Redfin.com, it was listed again in 2022. The home, though, built in 1935, is not for sale today. But the 1,700 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath home is valued at more than $335,000 right now. Gary Jones bought it in 2004 for $32,000. We're not quite sure what happened to Lolo, if it did sell after that 2005 story, but we do know Pat Evie passed away in 2020. That wasn't the only 4-wheeled vehicle from the movie that hit the auction block, though. The bus, not the cow shooting school bus, but the PRT bus that brought LaFonda to Kip, that was sold in Pocatello in 2015 in auction. And Uncle Rico's van, the 1975 Dodge Tradesman 300, that one ended up in Houston, Texas, by way of California, Ohio, Michigan, and Minnesota. It was actually owned by a Preston couple who were driving by and let the film crew just use it. So then they sold it. You can actually rent that van, by the way, right now for $125 an hour if you're ever in Houston, Texas, which might be better than saving money for college because, you know, your mom goes to college.